Anyway, great to have you all here. Thank you so much for joining in with this live stream. It's great to have you on this format. I've not done a live stream for quite a long time. I think the last time I did one was probably when I hit 100,000 followers a couple of months back. I don't do them. I don't do them that often, but I do enjoy them. I enjoy the interaction, and I want to say hello to all of you very, very shortly. But like I said, thank you so much for being here. It's great to speak to you all on this. What night is it? Tuesday night. From London right now. If you've been watching my videos, you will know that I've been doing a lot on the United States over the last month or two, and I've got a couple more videos from that trip yet to post. Two that I'm working on right now on the edits. But I thought I'd do this live stream because today is Thank You Patreon Day, a day that has been set up for everybody who is in the Patreon community. If you don't know what Patreon is, it is a format, it is a platform where people who watch content online can support the creators that they enjoy watching. It's called patreon.com. It's a website. And people like myself who make content, but there's also artists, musicians, all type of content creators have their own page on patreon.com. And then the people who watch their content can support. What that's great for is things like expenses and also to help fund things like cameras and all that type of stuff, all the stuff that we need to make these videos. So big shout out for Thank You Patreon Day, and I want to say thank you to all the guys who are supporting me on Patreon. It is amazing to see you there, and it really, really helps a lot. So a massive thanks from the bottom of my heart. Basically how it works is there are 4 different monthly tiers. The first one costs $1 a month, in which you'll be, part of the community once you're into that level. The second one's $5 a month, and for that you will get behind the scenes videos. You'll also get videos one day usually ahead of everyone else, which is cool. You will also get some kind of videos that I don't really show everyone else, some behind the scenes stuff. For $10 a month, you will be on the credits of certain videos, and there's also higher up levels where you get very exclusive merch. So please consider checking out patreon.com. And thank you to that platform for setting up this day and having a great place for us all to come together. But anyway, I just wanted to do this quick Q&A. Firstly, it was about thanking all the Patreon members who are supporting, but also just catch up and see how you guys are doing. It's been a while since I've done a Q&A, and I want to give a shout out to a couple of people who are on. Michael is from New Orleans and didn't see me while I was there. Michael, you live in an amazing city. I absolutely love New Orleans, one of my favorite places in the world. Wicked Opinions from New Mexico, Hobbs, New Mexico. Never been there, but it's on the list. We've got Audrey Ann from Georgia. Never been there either, but I'd love to go. We've got Mandy from Albuquerque. I just watched El Camino, the follow-on from Breaking Bad. So I want to go to Albuquerque. We've got Mark from Sydney, all the way from Australia. Great to have you here, Mark. Dustin says I should go to Vegas. I definitely will. Lillian's in East Lansing, Michigan. Lots of places I've never been. Guy in South Carolina. I never made it to South Carolina either. Heather from Ohio. Great to have you all here. Lots of people from the States, from Canada, from all over. Carrie from Houston. Great to have you here, Carrie. Thank you so much. Wikipedia says, did I get to try fried gator when I was in New Orleans? I tried gator. I'm not sure if it was fried. I think it was called blackened alligator. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but anyway, yeah. More test videos with my sister Dan. I don't live in the same city as my sister anymore, so might do that in future, but not right now. It will come up. We've got someone from Silicon Valley in California. Never been there. I really want to go to California as well. Just try and fix this format a little bit. Michael asked, did I like the turtle soup? I loved the turtle soup very much. Stephanie is in Alaska. My goodness, I would love to go to Alaska for sure. I got Crystal watching from Illinois. Great to have you here. So many people from around the world, and I just really, really enjoy this interaction with you guys. And just as a reminder, Super Chat is turned on, and When that is used, the comments come up a lot more prominently, which is pretty cool. YouTube has also introduced some kind of sticker thing. I don't even know how that works, but I guess we might find out on this live stream. So I just wanted to answer some questions that might come through. So anything you guys want to ask, go ahead. We've got Wicked Opinions. Does it ever trip you out that you've got fans from all over? Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I absolutely love it. It's great to see everyone. I've got someone, Moshka from Slovenia, for example. That is amazing. People from like all the states. Got people from Canada, Australia, South Africa. A lot of people from the UK as well, which is amazing. You know, I absolutely love that part of it because it means that I get to talk to people and connect with people from all around the world. So, yeah. Elise asks, have I ever considered Northern California with the giant redwoods? Yes, I'd love to go there. Hopefully I will make that trip, maybe next year. The comments are coming through thick and fast. So hopefully, I know I'm going to miss quite a lot of them, unfortunately, but yeah, let's see. Cat Jones asks, did I notice the Scottish influence on the southern accent in the States? I must admit, I find a lot of people say that. People in Texas have this kind of Scottish accent kind of thing going on, and it's related. I can't personally see it myself, but maybe it's because I just need to get more exposure. Carrie, thank you so much for the super chat. That is amazing. When am I coming back to the US? As soon as possible, really. I really want to come back on a trip. I'm currently working on a couple of ideas to make it happen. Probably going to be next year now, to be honest. But Carrie, will be soon. And by the way, Carrie, there is a video coming out in the very near future featuring stuff that you guys sent from Buc-ee's, and I can't wait to do that. Tim says, why do I not just move to the USA? This is a question I get a lot. Why don't I move to the USA? Guys, you would not believe me if I tell you this. It is near impossible, almost impossible for someone from the UK to move to the United States of America and be there legally and work. There's almost no way for it to happen. There's a couple ways, right? First of all, you'd have to be either a British person could marry someone from America. That would make it possible. Second way, someone from the UK could move to America legally. And really the only way is if a company that I was working for sponsored that visa process. And most companies will not do it because it costs a lot of money to do and a lot of paperwork, and a lot of times they will get rejected by the United States government. And a lot of people there are saying something about entertainment visas. YouTube does not count. They do not let people who have got on YouTube come over for working visas. So that is the dead simple truth of it. I've tried, guys. I have actually tried this. Not many people know this. I tried to get transferred a couple times from my work from America. I used to work for American companies, and they actually give you your best shot of actually getting transferred over to the States. Very high profile companies, and even those guys said I would have to work for them in the UK for 5 or 10 years first before they would invest that money that would cost them to get me sponsored to go over to the States. So, there basically isn't any other way for that to happen. So that is the reason. It's impossible. If anybody knows any better, if you would have to be somebody that works for the government. If you're watching, you might know. But so let me tell you, it's a very, very difficult process. And I've spoke to people who work in embassies and for the US government and stuff, and even those guys said pretty much not going to happen. So that just gives you the picture of what it is. What other comments have we got coming through? And by the way, just to say, it's also difficult for people from America to come to the UK to work and live. So there you go. It works both ways, but certainly from British people to go to America is nigh on impossible. Elaine says, what is my other work? I actually work as a writer, full-time, in the financial services sector. So there you go. Not many people know that. Yeah, a lot of people said to emigrate to the UK for Americans is very difficult as well. So there you go. Literally, the easiest way would be to get married, but I'm already married, so that's not going to happen. Brenda, there are not companies that sponsor British people, I can tell you that now. Basically, to get a British person to go to America is too costly for companies. I've spoken to a lot of people involved in this and they don't do it. But what else is going on? What other comments have you got for me? Drinking water tonight because I have been hitting it hard over the last couple of weeks. So I'm off the whiskey, basically, is what I'm saying. Karine, you said I've got lots of friends to visit, and that's absolutely right. That's a great thing. So while it's difficult for a British person to go over to the States to live, it's very easy to go on holiday. So I can go over pretty regularly on holiday and could stay for as much as 6 months at a time as a tourist. But that's not good because, like, in 6 months you have a lot of expenses and probably want to work by that time. So it doesn't really work unless you're somebody who's absolutely loaded. Staying for 6 months in a country without working, especially one that's expensive, is not great. Rebecca says, "What is the number one thing a tourist must do when visiting Scotland for the first time?" I would personally say, and I might be biased in this because I'm from Edinburgh, but I would definitely say people should go to Edinburgh first of all, the capital city, because there's a lot of history, a lot of culture there, a lot of cool places, a lot of cool people. You'll get to see a lot of amazing architecture. It's well worth a trip, basically. But the good thing about Scotland is it's a very, very small country, so from Edinburgh you can easily, in a couple of hours, drive up to the Highlands. Like, it takes literally 3 hours to get from Edinburgh to Inverness, for example, and all the way around the Highlands from there, so highly recommended. Glasgow's also a very cool city, but then again, it's very close to Edinburgh. You can drive to Glasgow in 1 hour, or you can get the train in 45 minutes, so yeah. Let's see what other comments come through. And Mike says, lived in Stirling for a year but couldn't live there longer. Yeah, Stirling's a much smaller city, so there's not as much going on there. Scrimp Daddy says, should I rent a car on the first trip? I would highlight, guys, I would recommend hiring a car in Scotland. It's a very easy place to drive, right? So definitely a good option. If you're coming to Scotland for the first time and you're a driver, feel free, take the car and drive. You will not regret it. As long as you're confident. The switch over from the sides of the road is actually not that difficult. It's really not. So, what about Scotland and over tourism? Desiree asked. Yeah, it's a question that a lot of people. I personally think tourism is, Scotland's economy is it's pretty small, and tourism is very important. We need to encourage it and make sure more people are going. There's obviously that creates problems in some parts of Scotland, but overall we need as many tourists to come, and we need to fix infrastructure, basically. Somebody says, what is a water sound? And I just realised, very silly of me, that the dishwasher is on. There you go. Someone asks, what food do I enjoy in London? Well, London is a place where you can eat whatever food from any part of the world you want. You can literally find any food here, right? And thankfully, British food is not good, okay? I'll put that out there. British food is not good, but here in London, you get the opportunity to eat food from anywhere. What else have we got? Helen says, am I enjoying The Crown? I don't know if any of you guys are watching The Crown, the series about the royal family, but it's a very, very good show about the royal family, about the Queen, principally. The first 2 seasons were great, and then they've changed actors, and the person who plays the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, is Tobias Menzies, who was an Outlander as well. Great actor, and I think I've seen 3 episodes so far of the new season, and it's very, very, very good. I'm enjoying it a lot. Acting is great, but it's a very different feel to the first 2 seasons, I would say. What other questions? I highly recommend it. If any of you guys want to watch The Crown, highly recommend it. Doesn't matter whether you are into the royal family or not. It is very interesting historically. It's not all accurate, but it is very good. Desiree says, have I watched The Handmaid's Tale? Yes, I love The Handmaid's Tale. Great show. Diana asks if I have any plans to visit Boston or New England. Yes, definitely. I know there's a couple of guys, you guys who watch from Boston, and I would very much like to go to Boston and check out that part of the country I've never seen before. There's so much of the States I've never seen. I've only really scratched the surface. And I think part of this trip that I just did was cool because New Orleans, I'd never been there before, totally new part of the world. Louisiana State and North Carolina, both places that I had never been. So yeah. Other questions. Schlibber asked, did I like The Detectorists? It is a show, I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who used to be in the British version of The Office, the number 2 guy, he made the show about metal detecting. It's probably, you'll probably find it on your BBC British applications and whatever. It's about 2 guys who are metal detectors, and they dig for gold basically around the UK, around this part, the southern parts of England, and they find a lot of stuff. So great show. The comedy, it's just such a British show. You know, the whole idea of clubs, right? And if you're not from the UK, you might not totally get this. But basically, we love a club in the UK. We love a club. Doesn't matter what sport you're into, there's always a club for it. And the way that our clubs are organised and how they behave is exactly like they show on The Detectorists. So, yeah. What other questions are coming through? There's so many questions. Wow. Elise says, thoughts on Turn on Netflix? Unfortunately, I've never seen it. So, yeah, I'll check it out though. Is it worth it? Let me know. Dropple says I should check out the Midwest, Minneapolis, in Minnesota. I would love to go there and check it out. Definitely on the list, 100%. What else? Did I plan to come back to Edinburgh over Christmas and New Year? Definitely, that's in the works. I just need to work a couple of details out, but definitely, I would love to come back. Someone, Jana says, come back to Texas. I would love to come back to Texas. There's lots of Texas yet to explore. It's obviously bigger than the UK, the whole state. But I'm doing a video in Texas, which is coming out in the next week or so. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. A new video all about Texas, basically. Not shot in Texas, but I think it's relevant and you guys from Texas are going to enjoy it. Colorado, I'd love to go there as well. Someone says I need to go to a genuine rodeo. Yeah, I would love to. I don't know what a genuine rodeo would look like, but definitely I would love to go and check it out. There's just so many places in the States. DM says, how's my life changed since started YouTube experiences? Yeah, YouTube has been a massive life changer for me, in that it's inspired me to get out there more and meet more people around the world. You know, get to know people from different places. That's the best thing about YouTube for me as a community, really, is to have all you guys who are here, for example, watching, to talk to you about different things. And whenever I travel around the world, I get to meet a lot of people. So that has definitely been the best part. It's also given me a lot of cool opportunities. Like, I had that opportunity with the US Embassy to come to the United States for the first time of 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, which was great. Really, really great experience. So yeah, YouTube has been great in so many ways. Great platform, great community, great people. So yeah. Someone says haggis, yes or no? 100% yes. Haggis is amazing, and you cannot say otherwise. Someone says, do I get goofy looks when I'm out and about vlogging? Maybe I used to, probably when I started, but not anymore, and I don't really pay attention. Jana says about the COPPA law. How is that going to affect YouTube creators? That's a good question. If any of you guys don't know what the COPPA law is, basically YouTube has been banned from showing adverts to minors. So anybody out there who makes content that could be perceived as for minors is going to lose their monetization entirely, and probably will not get shown in the algorithm whatsoever on YouTube. So it's obviously a shame for a lot of those creators, because there's a lot of professional creators who make kids content and they won't be able to be in business anymore, essentially. It won't affect me, I don't think, at all, because that's not my content. That's not my audience. So there's a tick box on YouTube where I can self-identify as being purely for an adult audience, essentially. So essentially the new laws by COPPA, I don't know if you say COPPA or COPPA, anyway, those rules shouldn't affect me, but it will affect a lot of people who create YouTube videos for younger people. So yeah, something to watch out. What other questions have we got? So Jeremy says, I've come to the US again. Which states would I like to visit? Good question. There's a lot of places I want to visit. I want to go to the, you know what? I don't want to go to the Northwest Coast. I want to go to Seattle. Definitely. I've got an uncle who lives there. Yeah. Where else would I like to go? I'd like to go to the Midwest, definitely. I like hot weather as well, so more of the southern states. So there's so many places. And the thing is, I know it's difficult because I'll never be able to please everybody in that respect, you know. Anyway. Any other questions? Desiree says, any interest in visiting Australia? I would absolutely love to visit Australia. Absolutely love to. It's just a shame the flights are so long and expensive. You know, it's literally the opposite end of the world. But I'd definitely like to go to Australia for sure. So that, you know, it has to be on the list. I've actually got family out in New Zealand as well, so I'd like to go there too. Family that I've not seen for years and cousins that I've never met. Yeah. Elaine says, have I spent a lot of time in London? You'd like to see it more? Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in London. I lived here for 5 years before. And I'm here now, and it's all because of work reasons. So yeah, it's a place where in the UK, if any business gets done, it gets done in London, essentially. But what else have we got? Tori says, what's your favourite adventure I've been on? That's a really good question. You know, I've really enjoyed my time going to South America and exploring there. I really, really enjoyed going to Iceland. It's not like a dangerous adventure or anything like that, but Iceland is incredible. Just such an amazing, amazing place. And if any of you guys get the opportunity to go to Iceland, I highly recommend it. So, yeah. Elise, what about Peaky Blinders? I've never seen Peaky Blinders yet. I need to watch it, but yeah, I need to get onto that. Carrie says, was the lack of historical stuff in the US disappointing? Not really. So I think for me, I actually went on a tour of the French Quarter in New Orleans, for example, and yeah, the timeline's different. It's not the same old as the old in the UK, but it's old in a different way, right? I found that I was fascinated to learn about the people who had actually built the French Quarter in New Orleans, for example, and you know, the pirates involved, and people who were involved in kind of the founding of USA and stuff like that. Might be of a different era, but I found it fascinating, that time period, and everything's relevant, right? You know, and even if I look at Scotland, for example, something that happened 2, 3, 400 years ago is interesting, and so is something that happened 800 years ago. So, yeah, it's all fascinating. And for me, going into the French Quarter in New Orleans was kind of like going back in time. But the question about Peaky Blinders, I really want to watch that series. A lot of people say it's good, and I will watch it at some point. Um, Someone says, what part of Scotland would I love to go that I have not been to? I would love to go to Outer Hebrides Islands. I would love to go to Lewis and Harris. Has to happen one day. The unfortunate thing about Lewis and Harris, the Western Isles, is pretty far away, pretty far out. But yeah, hopefully that will happen. Someone says, can I get sponsored by the US Embassy? No, it doesn't really. The embassy doesn't really work like that. They work with people to kind of do exchange trips, but not necessarily. They would never. I don't think they would ever give out like tax dollars, for example, for stuff like that. But they definitely work with people to do exchanges. So. Someone. Neko Girl says, have I ever been to Japan? No, I've never been to Japan, but there's another place I would love to go. Stanford Walker is here from Portland in Oregon, another place I'd love to go. Carrie, am I going to Brazil for the holidays? Not for Christmas and New Year, but maybe I might try and take some holiday and go there during Carnival next year. That would be cool. What else have we got? People who came to my videos watching Outlander, which is really cool. Outlander is a great show. I think the thing about Outlander is it really kind of inspired me to get involved with Scottish history, right? It taught me about Scottish history deeply. From there, I kind of just went on my own and researched. So, great show. Wow, the comments come in so quickly. Stephanie says, do I meet people from Edinburgh? Yeah, I meet up people as much as I can, whether that's here in Edinburgh, or whether that's in Edinburgh, whether that's in London, or when I was in the US. One night I was in Charlotte in North Carolina, and I met up with about 12 or 15 people who live in and around Charlotte, and somebody even came from the next state, which was amazing. Such a great experience. And like I said, that's one of my favorite things about YouTube, is just meeting people, and has really been, made all this worth it. So, yeah, very cool. People talking about The Crown again. Yeah, The Crown, it was absolutely incredible. I really enjoyed that series, even if, it doesn't matter if you're into the royal family or not, whether you're a royalist or not, you can still appreciate the filmmaking of that show. One thing I was going to say, I've not really said this in any of the videos yet, but the people who follow me on Patreon do know this, because I did a video there, like kind of behind the scenes video, explaining a little bit. But basically, I have lost a whole day's worth of footage from Charlotte, North Carolina. Don't know what I did with it. It's gone forever. So that has been really annoying. But anyway, I'm still going to do a video about that day. I'm just going to talk about it. So it's not lost. Desiree says, do I feel more Scottish or British? 100% Scottish. Definitely feel Scottish first, British way second. Elise asks, why do I love what I love about America most besides food. Elise, it's genuine. I really enjoy meeting up American people. I think you guys are, really friendly and really different from different states. And I don't know why, I just had a really good connection with people when I've been out in the States and whenever I met people out there. So that's the number one thing. Rebecca, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for getting involved in that. Really appreciated. Mike says, "What did I think about the kilt wearing culture in America, as opposed to Scotland?" I think that's fascinating. Actually, this is something that we in Scotland don't really appreciate. But yeah, you guys are obviously very interested in your heritage. You know where you come from. So for me, it was an eye opener, really. In Scotland, I guess we take it for granted, and like we're just not. Um, you won't see that many people wearing kilts in Scotland, like we're walking around the streets, other than maybe people who are playing bagpipes. But you won't watch people. You won't see people going around in their kilt, other than for a wedding. Um, Charlotte says you ran into a bear yesterday and you thought of me. I think I need to clear this up, guys, right? Because you guys were talking about uh, the wildlife in North Carolina and those videos that I did, right? I love like I need to say this. I love wildlife. Absolutely one of my favorite things. I love being in nature. I love the forests. I love woodlands. I love the beach. I love the jungle. I absolutely love wildlife. All right, 100%. I guess that was the first time I've ever been in a place where you could get something that would be bigger than me, like a predator, like a bear. I never experienced in the UK. We just don't have that kind of thing, right? Um, so it's partly that. I was partly the videos when I was talking about like wildlife and nature and bugs and all that. It was kind of more almost like a shock factor as well. I was like just really excited to be there, but I wasn't really scared or anything. I was just having fun. But definitely, I wouldn't like to run into a bear on my own and not knowing what to do. Um, I would like to be with someone who knows what they're doing in nature in the United States one day and go looking for these animals. So that would be cool. Um, Robert Stitch says, "Is it amazing how many Scottish stories you guys have in Canada and the United States?" I think that's absolutely um, incredible. Um, I would love to kind of really get to know more about that. It's fascinating to me, both the United States and Canada. Hope to really explore that more. Um, Someone says I've got a good connection. Well, I'm doing this on Wi-Fi now, which is pretty good. I used to do these live streams just on 3G, um, which sucked because the 3G in the UK, the 4G connection rather, was really bad. Someone says they like the Interpol poster there behind me. Interpol's a band from, where are they from? Somewhere in the States. I don't know where now. I forgot. But anyway, I've seen Interpol probably about half a dozen times, mostly because my wife is a massive fan of Interpol, and then I got involved as well, and I like them now as well. But yeah, we've seen them at least half a dozen times. So we got that poster on the last concert we were at in 2017. There you go. Someone says, Marielle says, I was picking up some beings that showed up on the film when I was uneasy about the bears. You've got pictures. Please send me those pictures. I'd be very interested to know what you're talking about. A little bit creeped out, but let me know. I would like to see them. Elaine says, well, I'll be doing vlogs around London. I might do one or two, but it will depend on whether people engage with them, these videos or not. So I probably will do a video in London and then see what you guys think. If people watch it, I'll do more. If not, then I'll probably not do any more. It'll all depend on whether people watch those videos or not. Elise asks if I can meet anyone who is dead or alive. Who would I want to meet and why? It's a good question. A couple of people just come to mind now, but just because it's been in my mind more recently. Yesterday, I saw on Twitter, I saw a video of Billy Connolly running around and being very active, which is great. Billy Connolly is a very famous Scottish comedian, and he's been ill for a very long time. So to see him running around was really great. I'd love to have a dinner with Billy Connolly or just a pint. Great guy, and also David Attenborough as well, the wildlife presenter on the BBC. As I say, I love nature and wildlife, so that would be great. Let's see. Someone's asking me to do an American accent. No way. I'll do it all wrong. It'll be embarrassing. Some people, I think some people will be offended as well. And also, there's just too many American accents, right? So different. That's one thing I've learned. So different from the south to the north and all that. Mandy says you didn't know Billy Connolly was sick. Yes, he's been very ill for a long time. He's got a very, very serious condition. So, wish him all the best. If you look online, you'll find all the info about that. All I want to say is, he's a great Scottish ambassador, if you like. Carrie says, "Will I do my Outlander videos again on Sundays?" I'm not sure yet. It will depend on. There's obviously a lot of people watching this channel who are interested in different things, and not everybody's interested in Outlander probably. I'll definitely do Outlander videos, whether I have them on a separate channel or whether I have them just for people on Patreon. I don't know yet, but I'll do something. Yeah. Someone, Papa Wendy says, who may be my ideal brand to work with in a video? I'm not sure really. To be honest, that's not really something that's forefront of my mind, thinking about what brands to put on my channel. It's just like, if the right one comes up at the right time, I usually work with them. But if not, it's not the biggest deal for me. Carrie, am I going to Hogmanay? I really want to go to Hogmanay. Actually, there's a brand, the guys from the Hogmanay who are organising Hogmanay have asked me to go, and I go every year that I'm in Scotland. I go to Hogmanay, so I would definitely like to go back to that. Have I met Sam Hewn? Nope, never met Sam. But he's obviously a very good ambassador for Scotland as well, and it seems like a very cool guy. Desiree have I ever been to Ireland and to like it? Yeah, I like Ireland a lot. Ireland is a really, really great place. Great people as well, very, very funny people, very warm and open people. I spent one day in Dublin. And I spent a couple of weeks down in the very south coast as well. Great place. Dan says, am I doing anything fun in London? Not really. To be honest with you. Not much. Danny says, have I watched Chariots of Fire? Nope. I've not seen that. I've never even heard of it, to be honest, but I'll check it out. Someone asked, how is Sky the cat? Sky is doing very well. She's getting absolutely enormous. She's obviously up in Scotland with my sister. She's my sister's cat. But she's doing great. She's getting huge. She's going to be like a lion. Keep in touch with her on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. You'll get to see her stuff. Someone asked, what kind of music do I listen to? That's a good question. I have different music for different things. I like electronic dance music. I like rock and roll, hard rock. I like classical rock. I like, if I'm trying to chill out and zone out. So for example, when I'm on the tube here on Underground and I'm trying to zone out from the world, I listen to something called lo-fi, which is like very, very relaxed, chilled out hip hop. But it's like almost dreamy. It's music that will make you kind of drift off to sleep a little bit. So I listen to that when I'm on Underground and like in a kind of busy, stressful place. I also listen to classical bands. When I was in the States, I listened I found this guy called Bo Jock, who is from North Carolina. What's the type of music? Zydeco? I don't even know how you say that properly. Anyway, Bo Jock, his music was absolutely wild. I heard it in 2 or 3 shops when I was out there, and I did a search on Shazam, and wow, the music was fun. Really, really fun. I would love to go to a concert of that type of music. Don't know if that will ever happen. I don't know if that type of music ever travels outside the state of Louisiana, if I could find it somewhere else, but I wish it did, because a lot of fun. Who knows, maybe even find one of those bands here in the UK at some point. I like traditional Scottish music as well, especially the fast stuff that that appears in like Kaylee's, for example. Um, what else have we got? Someone says, "Did I ever dream that I would have people watching from all around the world?" Probably not, to be honest. So it's been really a great surprise to get to meet all you guys. So thank you for joining in. It's great. Honestly, I love this. When I come back to Texas, Gary says I need to listen to Willie Nelson, Jerry Jeff Walker, and Jimmy Buffett. I'll check those guys out. Check them out on YouTube. I like to listen to new music. I like to listen to local music. Another local music that I really enjoyed when I was in the States, in North Carolina. One of the guys who was at the festival, I think he's part of the organization of the festival I went to, he had a banjo, and he was playing the banjo almost every night in different settings, and I just absolutely loved it. The banjo music was so cool. And I would like to see more of that type of music. Stanford, did I like the Native Americans? Absolutely loved meeting those guys. Stanford, it was one of the best experiences for me in North Carolina was to meet the Cherokee people, learn about their history in the state. They gave us campfire stories as well, they told us legends about the forest and about their beliefs. It was incredible, absolutely life-changing to learn about the Native Americans in North Carolina, the Cherokee people, absolutely amazing people. So yeah, great experience. Stanford, did I eat any Native American food? Not really, but they did tell us that if we eat beans, if we eat grits, essentially we're eating Native American food anyway, and we did eat those things. So I guess you could say kind of yes, but I guess that's not so traditional. But it was a great experience to meet those guys and learn about them. And I would like to know more about the different Native American people from different parts of the States as well. So yeah, really cool. Mandy, thank you so much for the super chat. Have I ever heard of Meow Wolf and their art collective in Santa Fe? Never heard of them, but I'll definitely check that out. Dan says, was New Orleans or or North Carolina? I was getting those two confused there. New Orleans or North Carolina, which was my favorite. I didn't really have a favorite because they were both so different. In New Orleans, it was more kind of like party and great food. North Carolina was more traditional stuff and beautiful setting, like beautiful nature. Very different. Very different. Can't really compare, to be honest. And that's the great thing about the States is they're so different. Got to have a bit of a sore throat, so I'm sounding a bit husky, but hopefully I can make it through. Zandine in from Denmark, good to see you here. Hopefully I will be going back to Scotland at Christmas, definitely. Michael says swamp tour question mark. Yep, did a swamp tour. The Bayou rather. That was really great. Really great experience to learn about the history of the swamp, the people that have worked there throughout the years, and the animals that live there now. Obviously, there's a big fight now, even with the Bayou, to make sure the environment remains protected and the animals stay safe, because as wild as it was when we were on that tour, it's a much smaller area than it used to be. So, yeah. Donnie says, born in Texas, live in New Orleans, and raised in North Carolina. Some really cool places you lived in. Other questions. J. Richard Moore, what is the general opinion of Scottish folks regarding Americans in general? To be honest, we're pretty open-minded in Scotland about most things. Scottish people do get weirded out when other people are really into Scottish old traditional cultures, which don't really exist to the same extent in Scotland anymore. So we get a bit weirded out, but Scottish people are we're pretty warm, friendly, and open, and we don't make generalizations. So yeah, Scottish people generally like America, and a lot of Scottish people come to the States every year on holiday. You know, whether it's New York for long weekends or Florida's a big one. A lot of people go to Florida. It's probably the top holiday destination among Scottish people in the States. Dan, be any European travel plans? Not right now, but definitely soon I will be going because Europe's just over the water basically. Got Lorna's little loves from Loch Gilphead. Lovely part, a beautiful part of the world on the west coast of Scotland. Oh, that's right. Elaine says it's celebrating Thanksgiving soon in the 28th. That's amazing. Really, really wish I could be there to celebrate with you guys, but we'll have to do something here in London. Yeah, I wish I could have spent Thanksgiving there for sure. So, yeah, it would be great to spend more time and traveling through. Have to do it. So many places like the thing is when I do the videos from the States, people say, "Oh, you shouldn't have went there. You should have went here. You should have went there." Such a big place and so many cities and so many towns and districts and all that. Like it would take me a long time to get around it all. Ewan, thank you very much for the super chat. Hope I can make it to Kearney, New Jersey, and experience the Scottish heritage of the town, including the food at your restaurant. Thank you very much, Ewan. Hopefully, I will make that happen as well. I would love to. I would love to see more places in the States, for sure. Elise says, would I be open to staying with host families and when I visit? Yeah, definitely. And in fact, when I was in North Carolina, I was with hosts when I was there. It wasn't necessarily their house, but it was a house that they rented. So, um, yeah, I love doing that. It's a great way to meet people and get to know people as well. So, um, people talking about eel pie, disgusting. But I know that here in the UK, in London, there is a traditional thing of jellied eels. So that is something um, that people here eat. Not me. You won't catch me eating jellied eels. No thanks. Not my thing. Uh, Thank you very much, guys, for all your suggestions and offers of coming to stay. So I'd love to do that. Yeah, it's just going to take time, you know. It's a big world out there, and a lot of places, and the States is a big place. It's just going to take time to get around and see everyone. Stanford said, "Where's my alligator skull?" It's actually sitting just up behind me on one of the units over there. I've got the alligator skull from America. Um, Dan says, preview of the next video upload. Okay, so I will give you a bit of a preview of the next video upload. I'll tell you about it. Carrie and Mark, who live in Houston, Texas, who I think are watching this live stream now, sent me a bunch of stuff from Buc-ee's, the gas station in Texas. And I did a video where I tried all the snacks from that place. I'm actually in the process of editing it right now. And I hope to get that video out, if not tomorrow night, then certainly the night after. So that's the next video. Texas. And by the way, I went to an NFL game, right? I went to an NFL game 2 weeks ago here in London. The NFL hosted 4 football games in London, weekend after weekend. I got invited to all of them, but I only made it to the last game. It was the Jacksonville Panthers, I want to say. I could be wrong about that. Jacksonville versus Houston. Texans. So I went to that game. It was really, really good fun, and I wore my Bucky's t-shirt to that game, and people loved it. There were people on the tube, on the underground, the metro, taking photos of my Bucky's t-shirt, saying, "I cannot believe they came all the way from Texas and they couldn't believe they were seeing that on the underground." So I told them the story of how I got it and all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool. A lot of Texas pride at that. I'd say, although officially the game was a home game for the Jacksonville Jaguars, there was actually far more Texans in that stadium, in Wembley Stadium, the biggest, most famous football stadium in the UK. It was filled with Texans. Someone asked, did they do the tailgating? Yes, they did do the tailgating, but it was not the same as American tailgating. It was like a sponsored tailgate section, sponsored by Subway, the sandwich company. It was very organized, very British, you know. It was like organized. There wasn't any like random trailers like you get in the States, which is a shame. It was more like a very organized event. You needed your ticket to get into the tailgating section, so it was a very British version of tailgating. But it was very fun, and I'm going to do I've shot a video, and I will release that video on my channel over the next couple of weeks as well. Very, very fun to watch football. I'm getting into football now, American football. I'm really getting into it. You know, having watched it in the States, and also going to that football game here in London to Wembley. Really, really cool. Talking about shortbread in England is a bit different. That's a funny thing I was thinking about is the difference between biscuits in America and biscuits here. I just did put, I actually made a t-shirt which is on Teespring that explains exactly how we see things differently. But the closest thing I can say to it is your biscuit in America is what we would call a scone in the UK. For us, a cookie is a very specific type of biscuit. In fact, I've got a cookie. Let me show you what a cookie is, right? Hold on. This here is a cookie. This is the only thing in the UK, this is the only thing, the only type of biscuit that we can call a cookie is this one. Alright? Now they do come in slight different forms, like chocolate chip, white chocolate chip, sometimes with nuts and all that other kind of stuff, but this is the only type of biscuit that we would call a cookie in the UK. Everything else, all other types of biscuit, like this, without the chocolate chip, or just biscuits like shortbreads, stuff like that. But what you guys would call a biscuit, we would call a scone. And what else? There's something else in that mix as well. Biscuit, cookies, yeah. Essentially, that's the difference, essentially. Stanford asked, what did my wife think about turtle soup as well? She loved it too. It was just incredible, turtle soup. What? I'm not kidding you guys. The best, the most impactful and most surprising food I have had in years, maybe in my whole life, was a turtle soup that I had in New Orleans. It was that good. Literally the best thing I've had in years. And ever since I had it, I've wanted to go back just to eat it. It was that good. I didn't know what I would think about eating turtle soup at first because like it's a bit weird. Like why would you eat a turtle? But they're farm turtles. You know, they're going to get eaten, and it was delicious. It was absolutely incredible. So yeah, highly recommended. If any of you guys are thinking about trying turtle soup, try it. It is amazing. And you know what? I don't even know if it was the meat that made the turtle soup good because it could have been any meat, really. What was good about the turtle soup was the seasoning and flavors that they had in it. You guys who are from the southern part, the southern states, will be able to tell me what it is about turtle soup that makes it good. Is it the meat flavor or is it the stuff that they put in it? And I suspect it's probably the stuff they put in it. But it just tasted incredible. Like I said, the best food I have had in years. Um, and we can't get it here, unfortunately. Um, Someone says, what is my favourite genre to work in and write in? For my day job, I write about really boring stuff, financial reports and all that kind of thing. I used to actually write, I've not really spoken about this before. I used to write for a fishing magazine years and years ago because it was something I used to enjoy doing, and I used to love that. That was good fun. Um, Daniel Wilcox, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Your question: Well, in Ferguson, did I eat liver mush on a biscuit? You live in Happy Valley near Ferguson. Thank you, Daniel. I didn't actually eat liver mush, unfortunately, on that trip. The thing with our trip to North Carolina is that we were in a very like enclosed event, and there was no shops there whatsoever, and no restaurants where we were staying. And if we were to go to one, we would have had to have walked for probably hours to get to anywhere we could have got food. So all the food that we ate on that trip was the stuff that they brought in for the event. All right. And it was all local food cooked by a catering company from the local area. A lot of kind of meat stews and stuff, but we didn't have anything like the liver patty, unfortunately. But it just means I'll have to go back and try that type of stuff. Um, Someone says, "What's the sound of the water behind?" It's literally just the dishwasher, but I think it's stopped now actually. So a lot of silence in here. Um, Tekka's moving around a lot. What are you doing, Tekka?
What?
You're moving around a lot. Can hear you.
Really? Sorry. It's cold.
Yeah, it's pretty cold. The weather's turned really cold here in London over the last week or two, I would say. Winter's setting in. I know it's not as cold as it is for some of you guys up in the northern states, but it's starting to get cold. Um, what other comments, questions have you guys got? Desiree says city or countryside. That's a hard question. I like both. I like cities for some things, and I like the countryside obviously as well. It just depends. I like both. Very very different. Like everything from New York and London to like the boonies. Um, yeah, I don't really have a favorite. It just depends on my mood, I guess. Um, like even here in London, there's a lot of benefits to being in a big city. Someone says there is a county in North Carolina called Scotland County. I can believe that. It's so many Scottish descended people out there, so that is really really awesome. Um, and also, I heard there's a place in Texas called Edinburgh as well. I need to go to Edinburgh in Texas one day and find out what that's all about. Um, Agnes asks if I'll ever consider going up to the Great White North in Canada and visiting. I think I've said this before, but I really want to go to Canada and visit. Really, really, really do. It's been on my list for years. I don't really know where to start in Canada, to be honest. Would it be the West Coast, or would I go to Toronto and then work my way from there? I don't know, but I would love to go to Canada for sure. Um, Rimble asks, when is my next Scottish road trip? Showing off the shaggy red cows. I will do a Scottish road trip again in the future, but I just don't know when exactly yet. I need to work that out. But I will be doing a lot more Scottish stuff in the future. Um, Elise asked if I like to cook and what do I like to cook. I do like to cook. I've been experimenting more cooking. I've started to just cook more kind of rice dishes like risotto. But I'm not an expert by any means. I like cooking fish. I like cooking meat as well. Steaks. I'm pretty good at doing a steak. But I have got a lot to learn with cooking. But I do enjoy it. Um, so says I should come to Kentucky. Do I like bourbon? I do like bourbon. Yeah, not quite as good as a single malt, but I do like bourbon. It's good stuff. A lot of people talking about haggis and whether you can buy it in the States or not. Um, I don't think you guys can get the same haggis as we can get in Scotland because there's some ingredients that are not allowed. So you guys have it in a can, which is definitely not going to be as good as the stuff we have. But yeah, haggis is pretty good. And we eat in a lot of different ways. I was telling somebody this recently. We eat haggis in a lot of different ways in Scotland. Like you can have it deep fried. You can have it on a pizza. Imagine a haggis pizza. Let me tell you, it's delicious. You can have haggis nachos, right? The best thing to put on nachos is haggis. So lots of ways you eat haggis in Scotland. Not just with neeps and ties, basically. But it is good stuff. Do enjoy it. Had recently somebody did deep fried haggis balls. Very, very good. Um, Someone said, Agnes says, what's my favourite single malt region? I couldn't really pinpoint a region of my favourite whiskey, but I was at a bar here in London on the weekend and had one or two um, Lafroigs, which is a very peaty whiskey, and it was very good. Peaty whiskey, which is smoky. Enjoyed it a lot. So yeah. Brenda asked, what is black pudding? Black pudding is kind of similar to haggis. The only difference is the main ingredient, I think, which makes it black, is blood. It's very good as well. Haggis, black pudding is great. Anyway, I've totally lost my voice, guys. Struggling to speak. I'm gonna probably pack it up now, but I wanted to do this video, quick Q&A to catch up with you guys, and do a live and say thank you to everybody who, especially thanks to everybody who's a Patreon member. Like I said, all the people who are members make a big difference in terms of me being able to afford to buy equipment and come on all the trips that I do and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and thank you all for watching, as always, watching all the videos and supporting. It means a lot to me. And it's just great to have these interactions. Really, really great. I'm going to go and try and have some honey to calm my throat down because it feels pretty rough. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you are having a great week. Great start to the winter for most of us, right? Starting to get cold. But I'm going to keep warm. Anyway, have a good night, guys. I will speak to you all really, really soon. Thank you so much for watching. And take care. Good night.